I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid, you filthy slut! Did you with me?
No!
You ever rewatch a movie that traumatized you as a kid and realize it's way funnier than it is scary? That's exactly how I felt going back to watch Child's Play. Back in the day, Chucky had us checking our closets at night, giving our dolls the side eye, but as an adult, I can't help but laugh at the thought of a 2-foot doll terrorizing grown people and actually winning for most of the movie. From Andy's tragic birthday to Chucky serving one-liners while running laps around his victims, this classic horror flick is equal parts creepy and comedy gold. While watching this movie, I noticed some things, and I have my thoughts, but before we get to that, it's time to recap. So let's get into it. As the movie starts, we are brought smack dab into a police chase. Charles Lee Ray runs into the toy store to get away from the cop. The cop is able to get a shot at him, and Ray staggers around the store, knowing his time is almost up.
I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna get Eddie, no matter what!
As he walks around the store, he falls over this good guy display of dolls and starts reciting a spell of sorts. And the purpose of this spell was to switch bodies with the doll. And no, I'm not including this scene because even at my big age, I don't play around with this shit. Have we not learned from the skeleton key? Anyway, we fast forward a bit and we meet Andy. Andy chose to make his mom breakfast in bed. Now, I know his intentions were good, but Andy was trying to give his poor mama the sugars and high cholesterol with his breakfast. What is up with kids not having portion control? They always take the biggest scoops and pour out of everything. He wakes up his mom, Karen, bright and early to give her this surprise deadly breakfast. Today was Andy's birthday, and he was super excited. They go into the living room where Andy, of course, chose to open the biggest box. But instead of a brand new good guy doll, he got clothes. Yeah, he wasn't happy about that. Karen did buy him a good guy tool set though, but without the good guy doll, Andy didn't see the point, and Karen felt so bad about this. But lucky for her, while she was at work, her co-worker, Maggie, found a guy in the alley selling a good guy doll, and she was able to score it for the low. When they made it back inside, Karen's boss told her she'd have to cover for another co-worker and stay at work late that night. Reminder, it was Andy's birthday.
It's my son's birthday.
Mrs. Barclay, are you happy with your job here?
Yes, of course I am.
Then I suggest...
Hey, chill out, would you, Walter?
Maggie offers to babysit Andy for Karen so that she can stay over at work.
Maggie, you can't do it again.
Don't be silly. It's the hottest date I've had in months.
I can't imagine why.
Her manager lets her leave for an hour to get Andy settled at home, and it was just enough time for Karen to surprise Andy with a good guy doll.
Hi, I'm Andy. Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end.
Listen, this still gives me the creeps. Anyway, later that night, as Andy is playing with Chucky, the news comes on and Chucky turns his head to watch. But then Andy notices and tells Chucky to watch him, so he turns his head back. At this same moment, Maggie tells Andy it's time for bed, but before he could go to his room, Chucky had a request.
Aunt Maggie, Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news.
Sure he does.
Maggie didn't want to hear that, so she carried Andy and drugged Chucky to Andy's room to prepare for bed. She tells Andy to brush his teeth, so he does, but as he's doing that, Maggie overhears the TV come back on, and guess what she saw? Chucky watching the news. So she dragged his ass right back to Andy's room, and I know Chucky was like, you got one more time to drag me up and down this hallway. Maggie warned Andy about not listening to her, and Andy insisted that he didn't put Chucky in the living room, but Maggie didn't believe him. She tucked him into bed and told him to go to sleep.
I told you she'd be mad at you if you watched the news.
A little later, while Maggie was reading on the couch, Chucky decided to leave Andy's room and stir up a little trouble. Karen calls to check up on Andy. She could sense that Maggie was a bit nervous, but Maggie insisted she and Andy were fine. When she gets off the phone, she begins cleaning up the mess in the kitchen, but gets spooked again. She is irritated at herself for being nervous, and just when she laughs it off and calms down, Maggie was a goner, all because she didn't want to let a doll watch the 9 o'clock news. Insane. Karen comes home to find her apartment is now a crime scene and Andy was nowhere to be found. At first, Detective Norris tells Karen that Maggie is dead. Mind you, this is the detective who was chasing Ray all through the toy store. He asked Karen about the shoe prints found in the flour on the counter. He told her that he'd already made sure that they weren't Andy's prints. As they're talking, Andy comes into the kitchen with Chucky. He tells her that Chucky wanted to know what was going on. Detective Norris tries to chat with Andy about his pajama sneakers, but Karen puts a stop to that super quick. She tells the detective to clear everyone out so that she can spend time with her son. Meanwhile, Chucky's guilty ass was chilling in Andy's room with flour on his feet. When Andy noticed, he ran to tell the detective and Karen that Chucky did it, but of course, they didn't believe him. Detective Norris discovers the murder weapon and asks a colleague to send it to the lab. Later that night, Karen overhears Andy talking in his room. She asks him who he was talking to, and he tells her he was talking to Chucky. Instead of shrugging it off, she asks more questions.
What's he been saying?
His real name is Charles Lee Ray, and he's been sent down from heaven by Daddy to play with me.
Karen thought this was cute at first, but it got dark real quick.
He said that Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved.
Can you say something so horrible?
I didn't say it, Chucky did.
She insists that Chucky is simply a doll, but Andy doesn't budge.
Now, you don't really think that Chucky is alive, do you?
But he is.
Seeing that Karen was upset, Andy promised to stop Chucky from swearing. Karen tucks him into bed and lingers to see if he talks to Chucky again, but Andy just tells him goodnight. The next day, Karen dropped Andy off at school only for Andy to walk right back out after she left. Now, where were the adults? Nobody saw a child carrying a doll more than half his size walk clean out the door. Somehow, someway, Andy and Chucky board a train and go all the way to Ray's old stomping grounds. While Andy is distracted, Chucky runs towards this apartment, just leaving the boy outside in unfamiliar territory. Chucky goes inside the apartment where his old friend Eddie, the one that ran away, is sleeping. He manages to light the stove but blows out the flame so that gas fills the space. Eddie hears someone creeping, so he starts walking through the house with his gun. He takes a shot at nothing, which gets Andy's attention. And instead of Andy running away from the gunshot, poor baby ran towards it. He's still unable to find Chucky though, and as Eddie continues walking around the house, he takes another shot at nothing, but this time he gets a deadly surprise. Karen is asked to come to the police station to find out that Andy was there with Chucky. Child, they were up here asking Andy all types of questions without a parent present. How many laws did they break? Anyway, Karen comes in to check on Andy and she tells him that nobody believed him about Chucky and that he needs to tell the truth or they would take him away from her. Andy pleads with Chucky to say something.
Come on, Chucky, say something. Hi, I'm Chucky, and I'm your friend to the end. Heidi ho. Ha ha ha.
Now, Karen was already on the hit list. Now Andy was being written in as well for that punch. Karen was at a loss at this point, so she decided to give in to Andy's delusions.
Say something, you little... Say something, damn it!
Hi, I like to be hugged.
As she's in the kitchen, she looks at the box Chucky came in. It was then she realized that they'd never put batteries in the doll. So now Karen was spooked because how was this doll talking without batteries?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Chucky ran under the couch and Karen's brave ass pulled him out. I would have been gone. Chucky could have had that nice ass apartment. Yet and still, she wanted answers, I guess.
I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
Chucky went ape shit. Imagine a freaking doll chasing you around your apartment, then getting on an elevator and running away. Do you know how crazy that sounds? How insane you will look trying to explain this mess? Karen goes to Detective Norris and tells him that Chucky is real. He doesn't believe her, and now she understood how Andy felt. She shows him the bite mark that Chucky gave her, but he still doesn't believe her. Karen decided to go to the peddler who sold her the doll so she can get some answers. Norris warned her not to go to that part of town, but she doesn't listen. She asks around for the guy who sold her the doll, and she finally finds him. While she asks him about the doll, he refuses to answer questions until she gives him something. While she had money to give, he wanted more. Fortunately for her, Norris came through just in time and saved her. Norris was able to get something out of the peddler. He learned that the doll was taken from the same toy store that Ray died in. Norris admits that he was the detective who killed him, or so he thought. Now they both had to deal with the fact that Chucky was actually Charles Lee Ray. Norris takes Karen home and tries to walk away like Chucky wasn't still out in the world, but Karen insists that he can't leave any loose ends, and she and Andy were definitely loose ends. Andy was still in the hospital behind this. Instead of going home, Norris stops at the station to get some files on Ray, and when he got in the car, there was a surprise waiting for him. Norris is able to get free by burning Chucky with a cigarette lighter, but Chucky returned the smoke by trying to stab him while he was driving. A whole doll was giving him the fight of his life.
Hi, Mikey!
Karen's able to find Ray's old home, and it was pretty creepy. Ray had linked up with a Hoodoo priest and learned the game. Just as Karen and Norris were finding this out, Chucky had found the Hoodoo priest. He learned that the longer he stayed in the doll's body, the more human he will become. The Hoodoo priest refused to help him and called him an abomination. Of course, Ray didn't like that.
I thought something like this might happen. That's why I prepared for it.
What are you talking about?
Your own personal mojo, Doc.
The Hoodoo priest tells him to get out of the doll's body, he has to transfer his soul into the first person he revealed himself to.
Well, John, it's been fun, but I gotta go. I have a date with a 6-year-old boy.
See, this is why we can't be giving out recipes all willy-nilly. By the time Karen and Norris make it to the Hoodoo priest's house, he was pretty much a goner. He warned them to get to Andy before Chucky does, and when they kill him, it has to be through his heart. Guess they weren't fast enough because Chucky had already made it to Andy. And tried to warn the doctor, but of course, he didn't listen. Poor Andy was terrified. Same time, Chucky had already swiped the key to his room. As Chucky gets into Andy's room and tries to stab Andy in bed, Andy runs from under the bed and runs out of the room. He runs into another room, but Chucky meets him there. Listen, this little doll is too damn fast. Per usual, the doctor doesn't see any of this. He only sees the scalpel that Andy has in his hands. While he removes the scalpel and tries to calm Andy down, Chuck is able to stab him with that same scalpel, put this contraption on him, and take him out. Norris and Karen are called to the hospital. Nobody has any answers for him, but they learn through another kid that Chucky had been there looking for Andy. Karen had always told Andy to go home if there was any trouble, so he did that. Unlucky for him, Chucky wasn't too far behind.
Some child left their doll in the elevator. Ugly doll.
Fuck you.
Andy tried his best to lock and block the door. He even hid in the closet, but as always, Chucky found a way in.
Making my way through the hood, sipping this yak. Niggas about to get blown with the Mac.
Andy leaves his hiding place too soon, and Chucky spots him and knocks him out. And so, Chucky starts reciting his right. And no, I am not showing that because it still creeps me out. Judge your mama, not me. Same time, Norris and Karen finally make it to the house. Before Chucky could finish, Karen got hold of him and threw him across the room. Chucky slashes Norris's leg and runs away. Norris searches for him and finds him in the bedroom. Or Chucky finds him in the bedroom. Karen comes in and shoots him, but even a bullet couldn't stop Chucky's crazy ass. Poor Andy was in shock for a minute, but he was able to get it together to help his mom out with Chucky.
We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.
Chucky's pretty much burnt to a crisp, but even that couldn't stop him.
Hello, Andy.
Give me the boy and I'll let you live. Do you hear me? Give me the boy.
Chucky's crispy ass is still walking around his house, giving them pure hell.
Making my way through the hood, sipping this yak. Niggas about to get blown with the Mac.
She shoots everything but his heart at first, but finally she got the job done, or so she thought. Norris's partner came in, finally, after they handled it already. He tells him about the doll and warns him not to touch it. And what does he do? He touches the damn doll. Norris finally shoots him in the heart and their nightmare is over. And that was pretty much the end of the movie, and here are my final thoughts. I think I can speak for most millennials when I say this movie had us shook as kids. If you were one of the unlucky ones who had an older sibling who owned that My Buddy doll, oh, you were cooked. I just knew my dolls were plotting against me at night. But the wildest thing about revisiting this movie as an adult is realizing it's not nearly as terrifying as it felt back then. The first 20 minutes have you on edge, but after that, it turns into a straight comedy. Chucky had unforgettable one-liners. Still, can we talk about the concept of having to square up with a doll that somehow has grown man strength? I saw that TikTok trend where people were debating which horror villain they could take in a fight. Somebody said Jeepers Creepers, and I wish homegirl the best. I swear up and down I could beat Chucky, but after rewatching this, child, I'm second guessing that. The way he was running laps around grown adults? No ma'am. And poor Andy, this baby spent the whole movie begging people to believe him. I get it. A killer doll sounds ridiculous. But once Norris realized Charles Lee Ray was Chucky, why did he act like his job was done? Sir, the doll is still out here trying to transfer his soul into a 6-year-old. How are you gonna start this mess and not finish it? And why were y'all shooting everything but the heart? You didn't need 6 shots to shoot him in the heart. And why did the partner pick up the doll when he told him not to? I have so many questions. Why are we giving unstable creatures recipes that they can't handle? Child, and now that you gave him the recipe, he used it against you and took you out. Gotta be smarter than that. Rewatching Child's Play reminded me how much this franchise leaned into dark comedy. The mix of creepy and ridiculous makes it iconic. And honestly, we may have to keep this train going after spooky season, of course, and cover the rest of them. At least up to Bride of Chucky, because I don't acknowledge anything that came after that. Anyway, that's it for this recap. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. As for the next recap, all I'm gonna say is 2007, we have a small town and more dolls than your nightmares can handle. Oh, if this ventriloquist says stay silent, shut the hell up. See you next time, you guys.